So Five Dimes is actually favoring Marlon Moraes over Henry Cejudo, despite the fact that in the last 18 months Cejudo beat Mighty Mouse and TJ Dillashaw. What do you think about this bout? Who's your pick?
Yeah, this is one that I absolutely can see going either way. Even though I've watched tape and I have an idea of how the matchup could go, there are a couple of intangibles, and those intangibles are Henry Cejudo's wrestling. You wonder how that's going to do against a Marlon Moraes who's at the peak of his confidence, who does have a very respectable takedown defense. But Henry Cejudo is by far the best guy that Marlon Moraes has been across from, whether it be in training, in all likelihood, or in a fight when it comes to wrestling. Cejudo's an Olympic gold medalist. I know he mentions that every chance he gets. I know he's doing the Kurt Angle gimmick here, but it's true. Like, he is that high level when it comes to wrestling. Marlon Moraes has just a one-touch finish power. I mentioned leading up to his last bout in his rematch against Rafael Sunsao that I favor I favored a Sunsao very slightly, mostly because a Sunsao can get touched by hands, but he doesn't really get kicked a whole lot with success. And Moraes tended to finish his bouts with knees and kicks. Moraes landed a clean double right hand to set up that guillotine choke finish. He hurt Assunção standing up with those hands. He doesn't only need the lower body to hit you in order to finish you. And Assunção was a really, really good fighter who hasn't been finished in the UFC. I'm fairly certain. So yeah, Moraes has that one-click finish. He could land it at any point, presumably, right early in that first round, late in that fifth round. He's got that kind of power where he could just shut your lights off with any random strike. I think that I'm concerned about Cejudo keeping his right hand low because Moraes will throw that left kick and he will throw that left knee pretty high toward the head. That's definitely a concern for me. But I guess I will edge very slightly Henry Cejudo. Again, I realize he can get finished at any point when fighting a guy like Moraes, but I feel like Moraes is going to be extremely fast early. He's going to slow down a little bit in the second round, and he's going to slowly lose some speed and slowly lose a little bit of danger level as the bout goes on, is the way that I'm thinking about it. Now, I'm not saying that by the end of this bout, he's necessarily going to be what I expected Rose Namajunas to be in a fifth round bout against Andrade. I'm not saying he's going to be exhausted by then, but he's going to be slower. And I think his speed is one of his biggest advantages. I think it's one of the more impressive things about Moraes. I'm going to favor Cejudo. I think he's going to see the value in avoiding any big exchanges early. I think he's going to try and get those takedowns and be ready for Marlon Moraes' guillotine, which is very legitimate. And yeah, I favor Cejudo here by a decision, a competitive back and forth decision that maybe you and I will disagree on who earned as we talk about this bout next week. But super excited about this bout, and I'm giving Cejudo a slight edge.
I am unfortunately going to say almost exactly the same thing. I've loved watching Moraes' run, but Henry Cejudo and what he's accomplished in the last couple years, I just feel like he's a winner who makes adjustments and finds a way. I think he's going to be very, very smart and cautious and strategic early on. He's not a lot of the guys that Moraes has been sleeping. It's not that they're bad fighters; they're terrific fighters. But I feel like a lot of people are getting caught standing right in front of him. I don't think Henry Cejudo is going to stand in front of him. I could even see Cejudo maybe catching, changing levels, catching an angle, and cracking Moraes, similar to how he cracked Dillashaw. I think Cejudo is going to finish in the fourth round.
To your point, Cejudo has been hitting very hard ever since that loss to DJ, and Moraes did get kind of flash knocked down against John Dodson.
Oh, Dodson, right. Yeah, Dodson certainly throws bombs. I just feel like Cejudo is on a Cormier level right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I do think both guys will be extremely fast early and their speed will taper down, but I think Cejudo has more tools to win when he doesn't have that speed, whereas Moraes really does need the speed, I think, to finish. So yeah, I think we're on the same page here. I mean, I am really psyched about this bout. I think this is the highest level of fight as you can get anywhere near that weight class. And both guys having finishing potential. Moraes having the submission edge, but Cejudo having the wrestling edge. Their striking is probably fairly competitive, but Moraes being the bigger finisher, even though Henry's been coming into his own and hurting guys lately. It is a fascinating style matchup. Henry, the kind of confidence that he must have gained from his last two wins against TJ Dillashaw and Demetrius Johnson, there's few things I think that can rival that. And despite Marlon Moraes' finishing streak, I'm going to go with Henry Cejudo's experience against two of the best fighters of all time in his last two bouts.